and swim away with me on Mermaid Junkie TV.
Hi Mermaid Junkies, how are you? Today is going to be video about, I was reminded, because obviously I'm a mermaid and I love the movie The Little Mermaid. Now I also love Belle. What is the movie, you guys? Oh dear. Why can't I think of the movie? Belle. I guess it's not important. Leave it in the comments. I can't remember what it is. It's the Disney movie about the Belle that she loves the... So, how to keep from losing your voice. And we all know where I got this from, I'm sure. I'm going to give 5 treasure trove tips on how to keep from losing your voice. And obviously, because I'm a mermaid, I'm going to use the analogies and metaphors of the Little Mermaid movie today. So number one is be truthful. Now, I think that when we can be truthful with ourselves and we can speak from our heart and be honest and forthright, I think that we in turn can handle the truth when someone tells us the truth. And when we're completely truthful, we start to recognize that we're living in complete transparency. And that is a beautiful thing. I think that one of the interesting things about the movie, The Little Mermaid, isn't that initially what Ariel had a problem with, is that she wanted to be with Eric, but she was afraid to tell him that she was a mermaid and that she actually had a fin and not legs. So I thought that was a really kind of eye-awakening thing, is that she wasn't living in transparency and she wasn't living in her truth. So be truthful is number one. Number 2 is stop living from a state of guilt. How many times do we do that? How many times do we don't tell someone the truth, or we do something not because we really want to, but because we do it because we feel guilty of not doing it. And if we would just be truthful and not live out of guilt, because guilt is basically pity. Guilt is not, you say, oh, I feel bad for that person, or I have to do it because I feel guilty. Well, let's look internally and try and understand, where is that guilt coming from? It's stemming and bubbling there in your internal being from some source of unresolved wound that you haven't dealt with yet. And I'm doing a whole nother video on that, and that's going to be really good. But that was what I was going to say, is that don't live out of guilt. And I know that it's very difficult, but there's little steps that you can take. You don't have to all of a sudden go, I'm not living in guilt, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say that, or whatever. Because there is, a tactical method for not living in guilt. But just remember that a lot of times people that do things out of guilt are actually receiving things from other people out of guilt. So everything that you're seeing in someone else, you're manifesting that through that mirror imaging of what's lacking within you. Do you see what I'm saying? So, okay. So that was number 2. Number 3 is... I was also going to say too, about guilt, number 2, isn't that why Ariel didn't, she became secretive? And that's another thing, that when you're living out of guilt, you start to become very secretive with your tactics or whatever kind of things that you're doing. And I always like to say, if you're going to do it in the daylight, you should be able to do it in the dark or the daylight. It doesn't matter, because they both reveal themselves the same way, right? If you're transparent and you're living true to your internal nature and your internal being, and you're loving yourself completely, then that means you have the ability to be completely completely transparent with people, and you don't have to hide or become secretive. Because isn't that what Ariel did? She became secretive and didn't want her family to know. She didn't want her father to know. And so she started creeping around in the ocean and doing all these little side, suspicious little things, because she was living out of guilt, not wanting to disappoint her father. So Ariel had some conditioned behavior that was not good, even as a mermaid. Okay, number 3 is to stop waiting for someone to validate you or to rescue you. Now, isn't that what Ariel was doing? She was wanting to need to be rescued from Eric, right? She rescued him in turn. See how she's doing that? Like, you mirror image everything in life, and even the person that wrote the story, even though Disney got it back in the early 1900s, right? Or when it was, no, it was in the 80s, I think. Anyway, I'm so Can you imagine me in the water? Like, I'm like, oh, that cute little fish, I'll follow him over there. That's what used to happen. I would just swim and like, oh, I'll go search for this, whatever. Anyway, I think that that's what Ariel was doing. You need to rescue yourself first, and then in turn, you will not need for someone else to rescue you. And that is a lot of times what we're doing, is we are trying to rescue others, because internally that is deeply embedded within us that we are lacking, because we haven't rescued ourselves. And when you haven't rescued yourself, you're always going to long, like you will get in bad relationships just because you are desiring that internal, innate, deep wound within you that is not healed, right? And so you will in turn look for that other person. You will attract that energy and that vibration in a person, because that is what they have, and they will manifest that to you. So they will rescue you. But in turn, we already know from my other video, rescuers and takers, that doesn't work. So, if you want to, leave it in the comments. I would love to do another video on that, rescuers and takers. But it's really diving deep into understanding why we are wanting that in a relationship, and what particular things we are desiring in a relationship, because it's actually a manifestation of something lacking that you need to do for yourself internally. All right, let's see. Number 4 is, this is a good one, you guys. This is one for me, for my journey, has been interesting. Okay, because you know that I'm a mermaid, right? So what that alludes to on the outside, on the external surface, is that everything is about what things appear to be, but what are not necessarily. So do not use your external appearances as a way to compensate for something that you lack inside. Isn't that what Ariel did in a way? She used, actually, she wasn't aware of that until Ursula came to her. Remember? And she says, okay, I'm going to take your voice, but that's okay, because don't underestimate the value of body language. Remember, she says all that, and all of these, different things that you could do externally to attract the man, right? So basically what she was saying is, use all of these things externally, because that will help you to get what you want. But it was a deceiving mechanism for her, wasn't it? But she actually used it, because aren't we kind of conditioned to do that in a way? And the only thing that I'm saying is, if you're going to put on a cute little outfit, or, because I do come into this, and I'm right now in the process of creating a new tail and a new top and a kind of like corset type thing. And that is one thing that has always interested me, is because the external appearance of being voluptuous and sexual is a lot of connotations that have been compared to, and like when you're a mermaid, that's one of the things that you lure men, right? And I think that it's an interesting, that's why I've done a different take on it, because I think it's important to leave the mystery up to the imagination. And furthermore, it's important for us to teach our girls that we don't need to use our body as a way to get what we need, because everything that we need is internally in us already, girls. So we don't need to use our body as a way to get things. And it's just a lack of loving yourself that is manifesting, and you use that as leverage to get what you want, to fulfill that need within you, once again, that you are lacking. And so that's not to say that you can't wear really cute outfits or anything. I mean, look, I've got my yoga clothes on right now, but I'm just saying that it's important to know why you're doing things. Methodically think about why you're putting on this short mini skirt. Why are you putting on, all this excessive makeup? Or why are you doing certain things that you're doing, or wanting certain things that you're wanting? Is it for the right reason, or is it for something that you're lacking that you're trying to make up for? So I just want you to become aware. That's all. I'm just asking that you become aware. I'm not saying that you have to live by any kind of standards that I have, because you're on your own journey. I'm on my own journey. I just want us to all be connected and united and have sisterhood, because that's what mermaids are all about. We don't compare ourselves to other mermaids in the water, right? We're all trying to do the best that we can, and we're all family. And I love you, so don't compare yourself to me, but just be the best version of yourself. And number 5 is, don't be ashamed with how and who you are. Even in this particular moment, you might be a little overweight, or you might have a little bit of an issue with a particular thing. You might have a really bad marriage right now, or a really crappy relationship with your kids or your parents, or friendships have gone, you've had like a dissolve of a friendship or something. But whatever is happening within your life in this moment, just know that it is all beautifully set up and planned for you to become exactly how you're supposed to be in life. And this is along your journey, and be accepting of that. Be accepting of everything that you are right now. It's okay. We got extra thighs. I do. I have extra little bit of weight that I need to tone up and stuff. And and I need to do that because I have to be healthy for my daughter, and I need to be healthy for myself. Not because of my daughter I shouldn't have said that, number 1, but because I want to be everything that I am preaching to you. Not preaching to you. Well, do you think it's preaching? I don't know. But I need to be everything. I need to be an example of what I am trying to manifest in my life that I'm asking that you do in your life, right? So that would kind of be hypocritical for me to say, oh, I can be this way, and you do this, and this is going to make you, you have to live what you're teaching. And so I want to live what I'm teaching. And I love you very much. I hope that, this was another thing I wanted to say. In comparison to number 5, don't be ashamed of who you are. I think that Ariel was ashamed. She was ashamed that she wasn't able to go to Eric and tell him that, hey, I'm a mermaid. Like, we might not be able to be together because I have a fin and you have you have legs. And so she wanted something so greatly, but she probably could have had that even if she would have embraced herself and loved herself completely and just been forthright. I know that it was all for the analogy and metaphor of a story to be told, right? There's it's good in the beginning, there's, adversity in the middle, and then at the end, it's a happy, beautiful ending. I understand the metaphor of the story, but I'm just saying that if you were to break it down, like if you wanted to go like psychosis in this psychological storyline, that's really ultimately what it was about. She was afraid to tell people and to be exactly who she was, right? And because she thought that what she wanted, she couldn't have. But I guarantee you, if we are everything that we know that we are and embrace and accept everything about ourselves, people will in turn embrace and accept everything about us. And if they don't, it's not meant to be, and that is okay, because that's how it's all supposed to work and manifest itself, to being our best transformational, beautiful mermaid. And so I hope that you enjoyed these treasure trove tips. I am looking forward to this new week of content. I'm so excited about it. I think I'm going to try the lake next week, you guys. I think I'm going to go down there with the ducks. That will be really cool and fun. And as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Thank you so much for watching and for stopping by. I really, really love you. Thank you so much. Ciao.
Come swim away with me on Mermaid Junkie TV.